So good afternoon. Sorry you weren't able to be with us here today. This is the lesson planned for Monday, October the 13th. Today we're going to focus a little bit more in on the classification taxonomy of living things. So taxonomy is just the science of classification. We're going to look at binomial nomenclature, which is really just a big fancy word for the scientific naming of things. We'll look at the 5 kingdoms of classification, and then today we're going to work on a dichotomous key, which is a chart basically that can be used to identify the species names or the genus of species names of living things. If you think a dichotomous is two-forked, then you will have a good idea of how it works, because when you make these keys, they always rely on 2 different choices, 2 different features. So in front of you, you have a small little chart that kind of gets at the introduction to classification or to taxonomy. And so you can take a good look at each one of these different questions and see how many of them you could answer. And then in a minute, I will open up the answers for you. So here are the answers. So now we're kind of introducing this whole idea of dichotomous keys. So there's a nice little YouTube clip of that. I'm sure if you go onto YouTube, you can find lots of little clips on dichotomous keys. But then what we did in class is we took some shoes, 4 shoes, and we tried to make a dichotomous key for 4 shoes. So in the idea of a dichotomous key, you're going to take the organisms that you have and look for an identifying feature that could split that group up into 2 smaller groups. So what we decided was to take our 4 shoes, 2 of them had laces and 2 of them had no laces. So we divided them up based on that. If a shoe has laces, then you go to number 2 in the chart, and if a shoe has no laces, then you go to number 3 in a chart. So then we went to number 2, those with laces, and we noticed that one of our shoes had a white strip around the edge and one of them had a real black sole to it. So then we would split them up based on those 2 features, and then we gave them scientific names. So we called the one with the white strip Footus white stripus, for lack of a better name. We didn't name our black-soled shoe. And then we went down to, in 1B, we said footwear has no laces, go to 3. So there we found that we had a footwear that was completely brown, and we had one that was completely black. And so footwear is brown, we would give it a scientific name. And if it's black, we would give it a scientific name, the genus and the species name. And then from there, we did an activity where we took 12 little organisms and we made dichotomous keys for those. And if you've missed today, you should come in and check to see what that's all about.